Hi, my name is Andy Reese, and I'm with the Freedom Resource, and I'm here to share just some pretty simple truths that we've learned about healing, inner healing, and freedom from the demonic. And I want to tell you a story. I'm an airline pilot, not a very good airline pilot, and not a professional pilot, as anyone who flies with me would ever say. And I remember I was taking lessons, and I was getting pretty close. I knew I was going to solo pretty soon. And my instructor is this gruff old Scotsman, kind of like David Foster. And he gets in the plane, and we get the plane all started up. And then he steps out of the plane, and he says, "You got it, boy." And he says, "You know Charles Lindbergh, but you're safe." And off I go into the wild blue, totally alone in this airplane. And it was a shocking thing. It was an amazing thing. Well, I tell you what, God treats us that way. Remember the story of Peter, and he said, "Peter, who do you say that I am?" And he said, "You're the Christ, the anointed one, the Son of the living God." And Jesus says, basically in my own vernacular, he says, "Good boy, here's the keys to the car." And in the same way, he said, then what you bind will have been bound. What you loose will have been loosed. And he trusted Peter with the keys. God has different solutions to different issues in our lives. His solution to sin is confession and repentance. His solution to false covenants that we've made or vows that we've taken is to renounce them. You make a bad deal, get out of the bad deal. His solution for wounding is to forgive the one who wounded us and to receive comfort and truth. We'll know the truth, and the truth will set us free. His solution for the demonic in our lives is ekbalo. Throw the gypsies out, throw the bums out. His solution for messed up brain chemistry is healing, and you know what? Medication is not a terrible thing. It never healed anybody, it probably never kept anybody from being healed. It's not a stigma. His solution for flesh and bad behavior is take it to the cross and learn how to deny the flesh. God has different solutions, different keys. And so as we look at the issues in our life, God says to us too, here are the keys. What you bind, I'll bind. What you loose will be loosed in heaven. I trust you with the keys to somebody's life. I trust you with the keys to your own life. You're a good driver. And so when we don't have any idea what to do, when we're kind of stuck, we can ask Him. And by faith, we can receive the key. And when we put the key in the ignition, an amazing thing happens. I remember a situation where I asked a mother who hadn't seen her daughter in 4 years, I said, "Would you be willing to forgive her?" And she said, "Well, what good will that do?" And I said, "I'm not sure, but I sense that's the key." And so I led her through, "I forgive you and I remove my judgment against you," kind of a prayer, and we expressed blessing and love. Well, about 4 days later, I was back up she was in Atlanta, and I was back up in Tennessee, yeehaw, my hometown. And she calls me. She says, "You'll never guess what just happened." Well, I've been around this long enough that I had a pretty good idea. And I said, "What happened?" And she said, "My daughter called me." And I said, "You're kidding." She goes, "No, out of the blue." And I said, "What did she want?" "She wanted to have lunch with me." And I said, "How was it?" She said, "It was the most amazing lunch. It was like we were old friends." And I said, "What changed?" And she said, "My heart." She said, "I released her. I forgave her. I blessed her. And both of us got taken out of prison." It was the key for that relationship. God will give us the key. He thinks we're trustworthy drivers. And so if you're stuck, or if you're sitting with a friend and they're sharing something with you, just ask yourself, is it a sin that needs repented of? Are there some false covenants or vows that need to be broken? Is there wounding where we need to express forgiveness and hear Jesus speak truth? Is the demonic anywhere? Let's get rid of them. They don't have any authority to stick around. We're bought and paid for by another, and they're just trespassers. And so, and if there's flesh and behavior, yeah, we need to walk out obedience. You know, we have this breakthrough mentality sometime, and we forget that we still have the opportunity to sin, and we still need to say no. I want to encourage you today that God has a good plan for you, that He began a good work in you, and that He's at work in you to will and to do for His good pleasure. He's given you the keys. He trusts you. He thinks you're a good driver. I'm Andy Reese with the Freedom Resource. Bless you.